I've spoken a lot about user interfaces within the worlds of games, or diegetic UI for short. It's becoming much more commonplace in recent years with games like Metro 2033 and Fallout 4. The last two entries to the Trinity relied on science fiction suits, giving the developers much more leeway to be creative with how their menu looked. But it's awe-inspiring when a game set in the real world manages to do it so excellently. That game is Firewatch. One of my writing rules is no context without critique, so I can only explain something to you if I have something to say about it. Otherwise, I'd prefer you play the game before watching, but I'll give myself 50 words including this setup since this is an indie game. You play as Henry, who watches out for fires in a national park and performs tasks at the behest of his boss Delilah via walkie-talkie. 3 words left, and they're gone. Now I'm over. Since most of this game is spent wandering around a beautifully lit forest from a first-person perspective alone, eeriness and isolation become themes of the game. Perhaps unintentionally, as you do frequently speak with Delilah. Therefore, the developers never want to give you the feeling of isolation by giving you constant dialogue. But that's just the beautiful thing about themes and all art. It's all subjective. So, to enhance the solitude, and yes, I'll repeat it, immerse yourself in the world, the developers Campo Santo decided to strip away all forms of traditional HUD and replace it with an in-game interface. I mentioned in my opening that I was impressed that it was set in the real world and still ended up in this category. Yet, as I write this, I remember that the game is set in the 80s because it would probably be replaced by a simple smartphone if it were modern. Instead, as you've most likely seen in the video, the map of this game is a literal paper map, and you navigate the world by using an accurate compass. The main character, Henry, will move as if he was reading a map, while you are holding out your parchment. He'll move slowly while still looking at the map, giving you a sense of what direction you're wandering, while allowing him not to trip over as if this was real life. Campo Santo also decided to do away with waypoints, adopting a similar strategy seen in the Elder Scrolls III Morrowind. Instead, its signpost system guides its players around Shoshone National Park. Even though the game is short, you soon start to recognize landmarks, and sadly start using their creative sketching less and less. As you explore more and more, Henry will start writing personal memos and routes on the map, so you don't get lost and helps commit more of the area to memory. A technique adopted by Naughty Dog while developing specific areas in The Last of Us Part 2. Quite a lofty achievement for a development team of 12 people who were then acquired by Valve 2 years later. This added artistry from Henry onto the map also further reveals his character and profession as he familiarizes himself with his surroundings in order to preserve them. After I completed this essay, I learned that Far Cry 2 also used the mechanic of the main character holding up a map as a means of navigation. While I haven't played Far Cry 2, I did watch some gameplay online to observe the differences. While I may have to remove some points for originality, in Far Cry 2, it seems to be a feature, while in Firewatch, it's tonal and atmospheric to the game world. The map of Firewatch is there to set the mood for the player. Henry's map helps you understand the bright, lush forests these developers made to welcome us into their warmly built park. It solidified me as a player into this game, and it goes well beyond a feature in this game, as it did in Far Cry. While a diegetic interface is nothing new, it's never been done more accurately or ingeniously in a pre-modern setting as Firewatch.